Hi, this is Carlton Cullins, and welcome to the Blue Sky Strongbox.
That's great.
Hey, this is Carlton Cullins, personal trainer and nutrition specialist here in Austin, Texas. I am also the owner of the Blue Sky Strongbox, and this week I've got more random advice, things that have helped me. I'm hoping they'll help you too, but I don't know. Here we go. First things first, I want to talk about the word diet, the way we use the word diet. Diet is supposed to refer to the foods that we all eat on a regular basis throughout our entire lives. That's our diet. That's our real diets. The things that we do normally, the things we do for the long term, the things that we do on a permanent basis. That's our real diet. Not all of it's pretty, but that's our real diet. The way we use the word diet now describes something completely different, and it's caused a lot of problems in my opinion. And we use the word diet now to describe something that is temporary. A temporary fix to a permanent problem. A Band-Aid. People go on diets because they're trying to lose body fat, but body fat is put on slowly over time due to permanent problems in lifestyle. So understandably, you can't fix a permanent problem with a temporary solution. You see where I'm going with this? It cannot be done. If you want permanent change, you have to create permanent change by affecting your real diet. The things you normally do, the things you would honestly do in a real basis, not this temporary fix. I'll be the first to tell you, all diets will work for a little while. And the reason they do is because they're typically restricting your calories in some way, whether you know it or not. You're being asked to eat something that you wouldn't normally eat. Typically, they're foods that are better for you. You're probably having to watch what you eat closer. You might even be writing it down. These things typically have positive outcomes, but if you do them too fast, they won't last. If you want something to last, you've got to do it slowly but surely and make permanent change. So to do that, you've got to do things slowly, one thing at a time. You can't go from eating fast food to eating fruits and vegetables overnight. It just doesn't happen that way. I want you to be successful. If you keep doing this crazy stuff called diets, you're going to fail every time. Everybody's failed. You know how many people? I don't know anybody really who's lasted on a diet for more than like 10 years. Not unless they change the way that they really eat, their true diet, their permanent diet, the constant. Change the constant, you affect the outcome. Very important. Another thing I want to address today is a question that I get asked about a lot still, particularly by males, by guys, is about bench pressing. Particularly if you're a young male, bench pressing is probably really important to you. It was for me when I was younger. I realized later that it really meant nothing. I remember when I was 14 or 15 years old, it was really important. I was really lightweight and I wanted to be strong and impress all my friends. So I worked up to a 250-pound bench when I was about 14 years old and I was about 130 pounds. I thought I was tough crap. Realized a few years later that it really meant nothing. I lacked strength in other areas that was much more important. You'd be much better served deadlifting, squatting, and doing things like that, building your core strength and stability up, building your hip strength for real power. That's where the power comes from, is in the hips and in the core. What your chest power is really insignificant, particularly if you play sports. I don't care what anybody says. Michael Bull, one of the greatest coaches in the world, has been quoted many times as saying that the bench press is pretty much useless. He'd rather do all push-ups and certainly, dumbbell pressing and stuff like that than a barbell bench press any day of the week. I've been lifting for a long time, for like over 2 decades, and I'll be the first to tell you that if you bench press for a long, long time, you're going to tear up your shoulders. The position that the bar puts you in is not a good position for shoulder health, and I would advise you to start doing dumbbell presses immediately with a neutral grip. Don't hold those dumbbells like a barbell. Hold them with a neutral grip. Look that up on the internet, neutral grip. It's good for your shoulder. But, guys write me all the time and they're concerned about it. Whether they're benching enough, how to get stronger, all that kind of stuff. And I try to get people to focus on other things beside how strong you are with your chest. Chest power doesn't matter that much. You'd be better served doing a push-up because you'll get some core stability and stuff out of it. But that's fine if you want to bench press. Just be careful and understand that there's a lot bigger picture out there. Who cares what the other guy thinks about bench press? He's probably just insecure. Who cares if they're powerful? You get powerful at a deep squat or a power or a deadlift, you're going to be probably a lot stronger than the other guys anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But strength is all relative. You know, do what you want to do. I'm just saying, don't put so much stock into that. Particularly if you're a young guy, it doesn't matter that much. If you do want to strength and bench press, that's fine. There's lots of ways to do that. Be smart about it. But if your shoulders start hurting, stop. It's not that important. There are lots of better exercises. So anyway, that's enough. I'm going to talk about that. I hope everybody's doing good, and I will see y'all next week. One more side note on bench pressing. Whatever you choose for your chest exercise, make sure that you are equally strong in the opposite or opposing pulling exercise. So this is a horizontal push. Make sure whatever you horizontally push, you can also horizontally pull. A rowing exercise. So if you bench press 200 pounds, make sure you can row 200 pounds and pull 200 pounds back. You need that balance or else you're going to tear your shoulders up. It's very, very important. Also make sure your form on bench press is flawless. For good technique perks, good advice on techniques, go to ericcressy.com and look for his stuff on bench pressing. He's a smart guy. But good luck with all that.